Good morning to all of you.
Morning,
Hello.
sir.
Uh, are you able to hear me properly? And the video is okay?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. I think in the morning always I face this problem. It does not connect properly. Anyway, let me start with this. The third type of model that we call a strut mounted model. That is basically the aerofoil model is mounted on the spring. Though I have shown it in this configuration, the springs are in the bottom side, but whatever internal model we have in our laboratory, that is both side springs are there. Means it is connected from here, uh, uh, from the upper part of the wind tunnel, the wall of the wind tunnel, to the internal model. So just okay. In that case, it is connected to the upper part of the aerofoil also. Let me come to the configuration. So a third configuration of a wind tunnel model is mounted in a strut system as idealized in the above figure. The two linearly elastic struts have the same extensional stiffness K and are mounted at the leading edge and trailing edge of the wing. The model is mounted in such a way that as to have angle of attack of alpha r. Means we'll be mounting the model in such a way that it will have some angle of attack alpha r, uh, and the spring are both undeformed in that condition. Thus, as before, the angle of attack is when internally due to the air pressure developed in the wind tunnel model, this actual effective angle of attack will be alpha equal to alpha r plus theta. Let me come to now this configuration. Let us consider that due to airflow, whatever I don't know why it is. Oh, I think I have to go to the. Okay. I think that's why it is not working. Yeah. Actually, let us consider that due to air flow, there is lift force L developed, and the at aerodynamic center it is having a aerodynamic moment that is what we are defining here as MAC, and that distance from the leading edge is XAC, and distance from leading edge to the weight of the wind tunnel model is acting through the CGW, that is at distance XCG, and the overall chord length is C. Let us consider after this aerodynamic pressure developed in the wind tunnel, it will have deflection, and the leading edge is delta 1 and trailing edge as delta 2. So theta we can calculate, means the additional angle of attack due to flexibility of these springs will have delta 1 minus delta 2 by C. So uh, uh, let us consider the equilibrium equations. We will have two equilibrium equations. One will be summing up all the forces, summing up all forces acting upward will be equal to 0, and summing moment about either leading edge or trailing edge, it should be equal to 0. It's basically moment about any point, it should be equal to 0. Let me come to the equilibrium equation. So sum of the forces in this case is lead force acting upward, weight is acting downward, and if we look at here, the aerofoil due to deflection, so this will be having a resistance force and this also will have resistance force. So this will be actually subjected to K1, K delta 1 and this will be K delta 2. So if I take the forces, all the forces, so those two forces are acting actually downward because we are considering that aerofoil will be moving upward, and that angle of attack, pitch up means nose up is the positive. So in that case, both the lift force is acting from here L and weight is acting downward W. So with respect to this, all the forces will have L minus W minus K into delta 1 minus delta 2 equal to 0. That is our first equilibrium equation. Is it okay?
So is the spring force is due to weight of the airfoil?
No, spring force is due to when air is flowing. Let me come to this. Air is flowing, so this lift force is developed. So it will be deforming upward. That's what I have considered here. It will have leading edge will have delta 1, trailing edge will have delta 2 deformation in the upward direction. So due to means it is trying to move in the upward direction, whereas the spring will be giving a reaction force which is opposite to the motion. So that is K delta 1 at the leading edge, K delta 2 will be trailing edge.
But
Okay.
both these springs will be trying to arrest that lift, or one spring will be arresting it and other spring will be assisting it, sir.
No, no, no,
That's hard
it
to
will be
visualize, sir.
combined. No, 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 it will be combined. See, due to eccentricity of this force, what will happen? This spring will be taking more force. This spring will be taking less force. The force, whatever is developed L, to balance that force, as this, it is not at the center. If it is at the center, then delta 1, delta 2 will be both will be same. But as it is not center at the center, as it is acting through the aerodynamic center, that's why I am saying this the spring force shared by leading edge spring will be higher than the trailing edge spring, because both are
Okay,
moving upward direction. Because lift is acting, let's say I have a rod like this, and if the force is acting at the middle, so both the cases forces will be same. Means it will be K delta, this also will be K delta. Okay.
okay, sir.
But as the force is eccentric, it is towards the leading edge. That's why I am saying K delta 1 will be higher than delta 2. Delta 1 will be greater than delta 2. It will be as per our configuration, because force is aerodynamic pressure is acting towards the leading edge because it is at the quarter chord point. Okay. That's why I am saying the force will be shared by the leading edge spring will be higher, trailing edge spring will be lower. And that's why I am getting this reaction force. I am saying this lift minus W and lift minus W. Lift is acting upward, so it is minus W and minus K into delta 1 minus K into delta 2. These
Okay, sir.
three forces.
Okay. And one more follow-up question, sir.
Uh,
If we have our spring attached at the top, so it will arrest the weight, right? So accordingly, we
yeah.
have to change our
Uh,
equation.
Basically, what I am considering here, if you look at due to the load, whatever deformation of the springs will be there, that I am considering as the reference point. See,
Okay.
before application of the means before starting the wind tunnel, the weight will be always acting, so it will take a equilibrium position due to weight of the aerofoil section.
Yes,
Correct.
sir. Yes.
So I am considering that is my reference position, zero position. Okay. With respect to that, I am doing means deriving all the deformations.
Okay, sir. Got it.
So now that is our all the forces equal to zero, that we are basically force in the z direction equal to zero. We are getting first equilibrium equation. Then sum of the moments about the trailing edge. If I take moment about the trailing edge, then this force will be giving a moment. This force will be giving clockwise moment, and this force also will be giving anti-clockwise moment. If you look at here, I have taken it here MAC, the moment at the aerodynamic center due to uh, due to zero angle of attack, means if there is no angle of attack, still MAC is there. That is due to the cambered aerofoil cross section. Then I have this lift multiplied by the distance. If you look at here, distance is xcg from leading edge. So distance will be c minus xcg, c minus xac. Similarly, W minus the weight is acting W into C minus xcg, and the trailing edge K delta 1 multiplied by C. K delta 1 multiplied by C. This is the moment about trailing edge. All the moments about trailing edge should be equal to 0. Is it clear here? This is the aerodynamic moment at zero angle of attack. Moment due to lift force, that is also in the same direction of the MAC, clockwise direction. Then I am taking minus, because weight is acting, weight is creating anti-clockwise moment about that, about trailing edge. This is also creating anti-clockwise moment about the trailing edge. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So basically these are the two equations I am getting, and if you look at here, we have two unknowns. Basically in this case we have two unknowns, delta 1 is unknown, delta 2 is unknown. These are the two unknowns, delta 1 and delta 2. If I can get these values, then I can calculate the value of theta. So as we have two unknowns and two equilibrium equations, so I can solve it and get the value of theta. I have shown it here, but I have shown the derivation here. So what we have considered here in this free body diagram, you will be able to clearly understand, due to aerodynamic pressure, whatever means aerodynamic flow, there will be a lift force acting, and I am considering here lift force is towards the leading edge. So at this point the deflection is delta 1, at this point delta 2, and the theta can be calculated using this relation delta 1 minus delta 2 by C. Basically, the basic assumption what we take usually here, the delta theta, tan theta is approximately equal to theta, and sine theta is also approximately equal to theta. For small angle of deformation, cos theta is 1. Okay. Basically, if you look at here, I have taken delta 1 minus delta 2, the in terms of the triangle, means from the, this is delta 1 minus delta 2, and this is C length, C, that will be actually coming as tan delta 1 minus delta 2 by C, and we are approximating equal to theta. Sorry, the tan theta is equal to delta 1 minus delta 2 by C, approximately, that is theta. So that is the value we are taking it here. Theta is equal to delta 1 minus delta 2 by C. So you will be calculating this relation. So let me come to now, this is the equilibrium of force, whatever we have considered. This is from the second equation. Then after substituting the values of lift force, so Q, S, CL alpha, alpha plus theta. This is the value of lift, what we have shown earlier, and this is C into C minus XAC, AMAC, then K delta 1 minus K delta 1 into C minus W multiplied by C minus XAG. This is equal to 0. So let me come to the second equation. From the second equation, what I have calculated here, if you look at here, we have rearranged this equation, and calculated value of delta 1, calculated the value of delta 1. So if I solve this, rearranging this equation, I am taking delta 1 equal to 1 by Kc multiplied by L into X minus Sc plus MAC minus W minus W into C minus XCG. And then substituting delta 1 in the equation 1, I will be getting as L minus W minus 1 by C. I am just substituting. If you look at here, I have substituted in this position the value of delta 1. So 1 by C into this value, L minus CXAC plus MAC minus WCXCG, and the remaining portion is K delta 2 equal to. So from here, if you look at, only we will have this equation, will have only delta 1 value. So delta 2 value. So delta 2, similarly solving for unknown equation, unknown, that delta 2, I can get the value of delta 2 here, 1 by K into the remaining portion from this equation. So we have obtained the value of delta 1, value of delta 2, and then I am calculating here theta is equal to delta 1 minus delta 2 by C. So C theta into delta 1 minus delta 2. I have just done the manipulation here, simplified the expression, finally got in this form. If you look at here, again I am getting from here because it is alpha r plus theta. So after solving theta, we will be getting this equation. So it is coming theta multiplied by Kc minus QSCL alpha 1 minus 2 XSC by C, and the numerator part QSCL alpha into alpha R multiplied by 1 minus 2 XSC by C plus 2 MAC by C minus W into 1 minus 2 XCG by C. And simplifying this expression, finally we are getting here, basically dividing whole equation by QSCL alpha. So we will be getting here as alpha R into 1 minus 2x SC by C plus 2 into CMAC by CL alpha minus W by QSCL alpha 1 minus 2 into XSC by C, and the denominator part will be Kc divided by QSCL alpha minus 1 minus 2 into XSC by C. This is the value of theta I am calculating here. So that is the expression I have shown it in the this equation. See, first I have got the two equilibrium equations, taking all the forces equal to 0 and then taking all the moments equal to 0. From the second equation, I am getting only delta 1 is unknown. I am solving from here delta 1 and then substituting in the first equation delta 1 and then solving for delta 2. And once I have the value of delta 1 and delta 2, then I am calculating theta equal to 1 minus delta 1 minus delta 2 by C. That is the expression what we are considering here for our calculation. And then simplifying this, so it is C theta into equal to theta, delta 1 minus delta 2. and substituting the value of delta 1 and delta 2 and simplifying the expression, finally I am getting this expression where again this lift value whatever we have taken, that is combination of alpha and theta. So finally solving that equation we are able to calculate the value of theta. So now whatever theta I have calculated the expression of the theta. So if I consider a situation when denominator becomes 0, that I am considering the condition of divergence. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So as usual, the divergence condition is indicated by the vanishing of the denominator, so that QD can be calculated. QD is equal to Q is the divergence dynamic pressure, that is equal to Kc by SCL alpha multiplied by 1 minus 2 into XAC by C. It is evident for this problem that because the aerodynamic center is in the front of the mid core, the divergence condition cannot be eliminated. Means as usually the aerodynamic pressure will be acting ahead of the mid core. So whatever value will be getting, it will be always means whatever value of k we consider, that does not matter, but it will be having some divergence speed. So in the same way, we'll normalize the equation, this equation, and then we can get the condition of means whatever we have calculated here. So this equation I can write as theta equal to alpha r 1 minus 2 xsc by c. If I am taking this is 0 and neglecting the effect of weight, because these are all constant values, we can consider also. Then we will be getting here as Q critical by Q minus 1 minus 2 into XSC by C. So in the same way, we can express this equation, and finally we can calculate get the value or this equation equal to theta by Q equal to theta by QD plus constant. So you can get a straight line equation, and the slope of this, if we plot the theta by Q and theta, then we'll be getting, this will be the constant term, constant whatever we have considered here, and the slope will be 1 by QD. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, yes. Hello? Any doubt?
No, sir.
See, only the finding the divergence condition is same. Whatever we have, I have shown it in the first case. We have first one is what we have considered as the wall mounted model. First wall mounted model, the configuration is only difference. The difference in the configuration only, wall mounted. So there we have taken the wind tunnel, and it is aerofoil section is connected by a rod where we may have a fixing mechanism here, and this will be the flow. That is the first model, wall mounted model. Second model, that is sting mounted model. Sting mounted. So here in the sting mounted model, what we have considered that let's say there is a holding mechanism at the trailing edge, and here it is there is a cantilever wing, cantilever portion, and on the cantilever portion this aerofoil is mounted. The flow is in this direction, and due to and in this case what we have to take, basically this length is C, and this length what we will be considering from the support, that is that length will be 2C, so that the interference effect will not be influencing the aerodynamic characteristics of this aerofoil. That is the sting mounted model. And the third one is strut mounted model. Strut mounted model, where basically the wind tunnel model is supported by springs and there will be flow. So depending on the requirement, means the availability of wind tunnel and the facility available in our wind tunnel, we can design any of the three models, means wall mounted model or sting mounted model or strut mounted model. And then we have to collect the data from the wind tunnel in appropriate manner, whatever I have discussed, and then we can plot it to find out the divergence speed from that particular model. So the idea is that in the wall mounted model, whatever rod I will be taking, the rod should be such that it will have the torsional stiffness k theta, whatever we will be getting from a actual wing model. So this k theta has to be tuned with respect to the actual model, and the rod, circular rod or rectangular rod, whatever I am considering, that should represent the torsional frequency of the actual wing. Similarly, in the sting mounted model, whatever torsional spring will be considering, that spring should be equivalent to the spring we have considered for actual aircraft. Similarly in this case also. Okay. The basic idea is that in the static aeroelasticity experiments, we will be taking the value of this torsional rod or the stiffness of this sting mounted model, or the spring configuration has to be tuned in such a way that it will be representing the torsional frequency of the actual aircraft wing. Is it clear? The basic difficulty is that we cannot have a wind tunnel which will be the test section will be so huge, we can place the full aircraft there. That's why usual practice is that we have to take a scaled model, and that scaled model will represent the actual aircraft wing in a scaled manner, and the stiffness of the torsional frequency will be simulated in the wind tunnel model, whatever we are representing or mounting the wind tunnel, aerofoil section on the mounting system. So there are basically three mounting systems, whatever we have discussed here. Wall mounted model means first mounting system is the wall mounted, second one is the sting mounted, third one is the strut mounted. Okay. Do you have any doubt up to this?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then see, I am completing this part. I'll be starting with the new topic that is called control surface reversal or control surface effectiveness. Sometimes we call control reversal or control surface effectiveness. There I'll be discussing again in some physical phenomenon with a single degree of freedom system. Actually, I'll be taking their 2 degree of freedom system because I have to take one angle of attack and the control surface deflection with another degree of freedom. So we'll be considering their 2 degree of freedom system with internal model. So let me go to that. Is it okay? I'll continue or you want some break?
Break, sir.
Okay. Okay, you can just take 10 minutes break and then come back. Okay. 8:55 will you join back so that I can start the new topic. Okay.
I'm all alone. It's just me and your ghost. And the
Can I take the attendance now? Rajesh Meena,
Present, sir.
Priyam Dalmia. Priyam. Siddhant Raj Jindal.
Present, sir.
Aman Sangban. Puni Sai Ganesh.
Present, sir.
Dikshit Rathod.
Present, sir.
Arun Chaudhary.
Present, sir.
Chandramouli. Chandramouli. Yuvraj Kumar. Arun Trishul.
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
Yuvraj Kumar.
Yes, sir. Present. Yuvraj Kumar present, sir.
Okay. Chandramouli. Aditya Deepak. Ajay Tanla.
Present, sir.
Jitendra Pradhan.
Present, sir.
Kodapalli Vivek. Kritik Santosh.
Present, sir.
Rahul Raj Kumar.
Present, sir.
Siddhant Gupta.
Present, sir.
Arghunir Giri.
Present, sir.
Astosh Das.
Present, sir.
Kotipalli Lilaram.
Present, sir.
Rafsan Singh. Prajapati Devars.
Present, sir.
Shivam Pandey.
Present, sir.
Divya Datta.
Present, sir.
Shreya Samudra. GB Sai Harshit.
Present, sir.
Venkat Sotto Suryavardhan. Nikhil Pankaj Mantri. Chandupatla Sai Teja.
Present, sir.
Devanik Das.
Present, sir.
Hisham Kumar Thakur.
Present, sir.
Parita.
Present.
Nitin Sharma.
Present, sir.
Divyasri.
Present, sir.
Kesrinath Chaudhary.
Present, sir.
Vignesha.
Yes, sir.
Thomas Pal.
Yes, sir.
Nadim Rahman,
Present, sir.
Aish Gupta, Prithvi Nanne.
Present, sir.
Aish Gupta is not there today, no? Nikhil Pankaj Mantri, Venkata Satta Sriyavardhan, Shreyas Samudra, Prajapati Devars,
Present, sir.
Prajapati Devars is there.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. I think Robson Singh is not there. Yeah. I've taken your.
Yes, sir.
Kothapalli Vivek.
Robson
Vivek
is here,
is
sir.
there.
Sir, can you hear me?
Aditya Deepak. Yeah.
Present, sir.
Aditya Deepak.
Present, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Chandramouli. Aman Sangman. Siddhantraj Jindal. No, sorry. Priyam Dalmia. Priyam Dalmia is not there. Okay. Kajal Chaudhary.
Sir, Robson is here.
Robson Singh is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kajal, have you got
Yes,
the
sir.
mail? Have you got the mail? I shared that mail, means shared a document. I think it was giving your mail address, whatever it is there in ERP, it is saying that email does not exist.
Sir, actually, I have changed my email address in ERP, so maybe shayad it is because of that.
Can you send me your current email address?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will mail you.
Okay, because I have just shared that document for giving your option in group, which group you want to be. That mail didn't go to you. I think another is the Rapsan Singh. Rapsan, you have redeem mail.
Yes, sir.
Redeem mail, it will not allow to edit.
Sir, I also have email.
You send me your Gmail address so that I'll give the
I
permission there.
I have updated both their names in the sheets, sir, accordingly, since they weren't able to.
Okay. But you fill up your group and accordingly, what is the problem with the group A, group B, group B, group A, group B, nobody is filling yet. Okay, you can fill up, then I'll sort that file to give you the information who are there in which group. Okay. So I'm now starting with a new topic that is called as control reversal, because see, aircraft without control surface we cannot think of, only clean aerofoil section. We'll have the clean aerofoil section in some portion of the wing, but that is for different maneuvering conditions. Control surface is essential. Without control surface we cannot have the maneuvering conditions. So let me come to this control reversal. Sometimes we call as aileron reversal, reversal of control surface. Aileron controls the rolling motion of an aircraft. When an airplane is displaced downward, and the lift over the wing increases, lift over the wing increases, thus producing a rolling moment. Means basically you will have a differential displacement of control surface in left side of the wing and right port wing and what we call port wing and means the left side of the pilot, the wing part and the right side. So depending on the differential rotation, we can have the rolling moment, which will give us the rolling maneuvering conditions. But the aileron deflection also decreases a nose down aerodynamic pitching moment, which twists the wing in a direction tending to reduce the lift and hence reducing the rolling moment as the elastic stiffness of the wing is independent of the flight speed, whereas the aerodynamic force varies with u square. There exists a critical speed at which this aileron become completely ineffective. This critical speed is called critical aileron reversal speed. Means let's say we have a aerofoil. In this case, we will be taking a aerofoil and the control surface. So we'll have the angle of attack. This control surface basically we can deform in, means pilot can deform in both downward direction or upward direction. But if the aircraft had reached a speed, what we call as the aileron reversal speed or control surface reversal speed, then the pilot, whatever he is looking for the deflection, the control surface may not deflect in that direction. It may go to the opposite to that direction. That is called as the control reversal speed. Typically, we are considering here in this form. This is our whatever we have considered whole wing with the torsional stiffness k theta, and then we are taking towards the trailing edge the control surface. The length of the control surface is capital E into C. We are taking capital E as the percentage of chord to define the control surface, and this control surface usually will be connected by a actuator, what I have represented here. This actuator will be giving the deflection beta, what we are, or pilot is demanding something to deflect this control surface, let's say in the downward direction. In this case, the sign convention is like this. Sign convention, for theta, that is the angle of attack, that is nose up. If it is deforming in the upward direction, then we are calling that as the positive deflection. Whereas for beta, whatever we are taking, beta is the control surface deflection. This is downward is the positive. See, this is usually used in the aircraft configuration, means in the control, your flight mechanics, whatever you are considering the this sign convention. I am using that same convention here. Theta is nose up positive, beta is downward positive. The control surface deflection in the downward direction, that we are considering as positive control surface deflection. So let us consider here how this actuator works. Basically, these actuators are hydraulic actuator. So suppose I want a deformation in this direction, the control surface deflection, actuator deflection in this direction, basically to have upward direction of the control surface, there will be a flow, means fluid flow will be going inside this tank, and then there will be pressure developed. Due to that pressure, what will happen? This piston will move into the rightward direction. So means when it is moving in the pressure is created here, the pressure will be the flow will be going out from this other tank, other side of the cylinder through this orifice or the hydraulic connection. So then we'll have this upward direction of the control surface deflection. Suppose we are interested, means pilot is interested to give a downward motion, then flow will be in this direction. Flow will be coming from through the hydraulic line to this upper part of the cylinder, and then pressure will be developed, then it will be moving in this direction. So that way we can have upward direction, means motion of the control surface upward or downward. That's what we are calling as the actuator action. Means depending on the pilot demand, the flow manipulation, the hydraulic flow manipulation will be such that it can have a downward deflection or upward deflection. That is the typically hydraulic actuator, how it works. But usually for small aircraft, we can have a different type of actuator, that is electrical actuator we can have. But for bigger aircraft, means either fighter aircraft or transport aircraft, the requirement of the control force is quite high, or actuator force is quite high, and that's why we need a hydraulic actuator. Is it clear how I'm means considering the upward motion and downward motion of the control surface, considering a simple cylinder? This is basically actuator, or what we call as the hydraulic actuator, and this outer part is called a cylinder. Cylinder actually the reservoir of the fluid, or the hydraulic fluid, whatever we use here, and this is the piston, which is called as which is movable portion. This is piston. Depending on the piston motion, we can have that control surface deflection as upward or downward. Is it okay?
Got it, sir.
Okay. Let me now come to this. Suppose we are, this is a simple configuration of the aircraft. What I am considering, this is the fuselage and the wing, the both side wing. So depending on the requirement, means suppose we are deflecting the control surface upward direction in the right side and downward direction in the left side, what will happen? The lift press, the total lift force will be increased here. That is the positive, and this will be positive in the, this is positive in the downward direction, this is positive in the upward direction. So we can have due to this differential aerodynamic pressure, we will have a rolling moment developed, or aircraft can roll in that direction, clockwise direction. So this is the requirement from our maneuvering configurations. For different maneuvering configurations, we may need clockwise rolling motion or anti-clockwise rolling motion, or depending on this radar movement, we can have the yaw motion of the aircraft also. So and if we need some other configuration, means usually the aircraft will have control surface, the two wings will have control surface, the radar will have control surface, and the tail wing also will have control surface. Sometimes tail wing may have control surface, or the whole tail wing can be rotated about its axis. So let me now come to the simple configuration, reversal of the control surface, what we are trying to derive the information so that I can get the relation of control reversal. In this case, I am considering the aerofoil with trailing edge control surface. The 2D configuration we have considered here. The total chord length is C, and the control surface flap or the aileron, whatever we are considering, that length we are considering from the hinge point to the trailing edge of the control surface. E into C is the percentage or eccentricity. In the earlier case we have considered as E eccentricity. In this case it is not the meaning is not eccentricity, it is the percentage of the chord length. E into C, that is the length of the control surface, and the remaining portion will be used for the lift generating device. So let me come to here. So we can have chord-wise flexibility, distributed stiffness of the control surface, span-wise flexibility, and we can have actuator flexibility. So let me come to now this simple stick configuration. We are considering the aircraft wing with this line, and then we are considering a control surface length of capital E into C. And now we are taking the control surface, angle of attack alpha. Alpha has 1 degree of freedom. Another delta is the another degree of freedom, the control surface deflection. So in this case, we will be considering 2 degree of freedom system. One is in this case alpha or theta, alpha r plus theta, that is 1 degree, and beta or sometimes delta I have considered, delta another degree. This we are calling as torsional motion. And this is downward control surface deflection. Downward control surface deflection. So this is the 2 degree of freedom system, what we are considering for the control reversal. We need certain coefficients, aerodynamic coefficients. The one is the CL alpha, the lift curve slope, CM alpha, moment coefficient. Then we can have CL delta. CL delta is due to control surface deflection, whatever overall lift developed. Then CM delta, we may need another 2 information, that is CMH, that is hinge moment coefficient due to control surface deflection and also due to angle of attack, change in angle of attack. So CMH alpha into alpha, CMH delta into delta. These are the coefficients we need to know before going to the control surface, calculation of the control surface reversal. Let me now come to the lift force, whatever we have considered. See, earlier we have considered only 1 degree of freedom system. That's why we have taken with respect to theta. Now, as we are considering the control surface deflection also, this control surface deflection also will be introducing some additional lift force, what we are getting from as CL alpha, CL delta into delta. So this lift force will become Q infinity, dynamic pressure, C into 1, the area, then CL alpha into alpha, CL alpha into alpha plus theta, and CL delta into delta. This is the lift force. The moment can be calculated from similarly in the earlier derivation, whatever we have considered. So this force is having a eccentricity Q infinity EC square, that is EC is the eccentricity of this lift force with respect to the elastic axis. So Q EC square, Then I am taking CL alpha into alpha plus theta, CL delta into delta. That is the lift force coming due to control surface deflection, and this is at the q infinity c square, the aerodynamic moment developed in the at the location of the aerodynamic center, that is c infinity c square into 1 cm delta into delta. So this is the aerodynamic moment, and to counter this aerodynamic moment, there will be a restoring force developed in the system, k theta into theta. So at equilibrium, these two forces, the elastic restoring force and the aerodynamic moment should be equal to 0. That means should be equal. So MAEA, aerodynamic moment about elastic axis, that should be equal to MSEA, the structural moment or the restoring moment, MSEA about its elastic axis. So this is our first equilibrium equation. So if we substitute the value, so Q infinity E C square CL alpha into alpha plus theta, CL delta into delta, CL delta into delta, then Q infinity C square CM delta into delta, that should be equal to K theta into theta. So this is the elastic restoring force, and left side, whatever information we have given it here, those are due to control surface deflection and also the flexibility of the aerofoil cross section, the theta introduced in that. So now what we are doing, we are non-dimensionalizing this equation in this form, taking Q infinity E C square CL alpha, then this will become alpha r plus theta plus CL delta by CL alpha into delta, then CM delta E CL alpha into delta, that is equal to K theta into theta. And now this is our first equilibrium equation. Is it okay? First equilibrium equation, how I am getting it?
Yes, sir.
Now I am coming to the next second equilibrium equation. Whatever aerodynamic moments are developed, that is Q infinity C into CH. That is the CH is the chord length of the control surface. C multiplied by CMH, or we can write Q infinity E C square. CH is the CH is basically E into C. So it becomes Q infinity E C square, and CMH is CMH alpha into alpha, CMH delta into delta. This is the aerodynamic moment developed due to the control surface about hinge line. This equilibrium equation we are considering about the hinge line, and then so finally whatever we are calculating here, K delta, the elastic restoring force will be K delta into delta minus delta naught. So let me come to this explanation. This delta naught is the pilot demand. Pilot is looking for this type of this delta naught deformation. Pilot is looking for this deformation. However, the control surface will have delta deflection. So delta minus K delta naught. is equal to K multiplied by K delta, that is coming. This is basically whatever control surface deflection pilot is demanding, that is delta naught, that is coming from the hydraulic actuator. So that is not considered as a elastic deformation, but whatever delta it is, the pilot is demanding, but finally he will be getting a deflection which may be higher or lower than that. So in this case, we are considering as delta is more than delta naught, and we are taking that delta minus delta naught is the positive value, that multiplied by K delta will be the elastic restoring moment at the hinge about the hinge point, which will be balanced by the aerodynamic pressure, whatever it is developed outside. So it is finally the second equilibrium equation, whatever we will be getting, Q infinity E C square multiplied by CMH alpha into alpha plus theta plus CMH delta into delta, that is equal to K delta multiplied by delta minus delta naught. Is it clear, the second equation? And is it clear to you why I am taking K delta multiplied by delta minus delta naught? Because this is the pilot demand. Pilot is demanding this deflection. However, due to flexibility of the control surface, it will not be having that deflection. So I have considered here the actual deflection is this. Actual deflection is delta. So delta minus delta naught, whatever differential displacement will be there, that differential rotation. In this case, deformation sometimes I am using, but they are in general sense. Deformation may be linear deformation or angular deformation. So K delta multiplied by delta minus delta naught, this is the elastic restoring force. In this case, we are considering, let's say alpha r equal to 0, then I am getting this equation simplified. Let me now come to this configuration. See, in this case, we can have two conditions. One I am calling as the ideal condition or ideal actuator or rigid control surface. This is the ideal condition, ideal actuator, where whatever pilot is demanding, actuator will be deflecting that much. Means K delta, we are considering that K delta is infinitely rigid, or delta is infinitely high value. That means the actuator mechanism is such that it is giving infinite stiffness of the control surface actuator. So then I can take this delta minus delta naught equal to 0. First case I am considering K delta is equal to infinite, or delta minus delta naught equal to 0, or delta is equal to delta naught. So in that case, when I am considering an ideal actuator and rigid control surface, I will not have the second equation, because we have reduced the model to a single degree of freedom system now. Whatever pilot is demanding, that much deformation it will be, control surface will be experiencing that much deformation. So we will have only the controls, the deformation related to angle of beta. Is it clear? Whatever ideal actuator I am considering. In this case, I am considering an ideal actuator. Later, I will be considering the next one. K delta is finite, and then we will derive the equation. So in this case, the second equation will not exist when I am considering an ideal actuator and rigid control surface. So from the first equation, whatever we will be getting, we will now define the equation in this form. whatever, if you go back, whatever equation I have expressed here, Q infinity E C square CL alpha, alpha r plus theta, CL delta by CL alpha into delta, CM delta by E CL alpha into delta. Here I am using a non-dimensional parameter. One parameter is CL delta bar, that is nothing but CL delta by CL alpha, and then I am taking another nonlinear term, non-dimensional term. Another non-dimensional term, that is CM delta. CM delta is equal to CM delta divided CM delta bar equal to CM delta by E CL alpha. So whatever equation we have written, first equation, we will be rewriting this Q infinity. If you look at here, we have taken same equation and we have taken alpha equal to 0. So it is Q infinity E C square CL alpha into theta plus Cm delta bar Cl delta bar into delta naught equal to k theta into theta. Here Cl delta bar I have defined here, and similarly Cm delta bar I have defined here. So if we solve now for this theta value, so it will be rearranging this expression. I am solving for theta. So k theta minus Q infinity E C square CL alpha into theta, that multiplied by theta equal to Q infinity E C square CL alpha multiplied by CL delta bar and CM delta bar, that multiplied by delta naught. We have only because the delta and delta naught are same, so we are getting the equation. Means now I am dividing whole equation by Q infinity E C square CL alpha, so it will become k theta by Q infinity E C square CL alpha minus 1 into theta, and right hand side we will have Cm delta bar and CL delta bar into delta naught. And rearranging this expression again, I am writing now. So as we have seen earlier, k theta by E C square CL alpha is QD, wing divergence. So I am taking that as the parameter here. So QD by Q infinity minus 1, and that is equal to Cm delta bar plus CL delta bar into delta naught. And then theta I can calculate. Theta is equal to, so simplifying this equation, Cm delta bar plus Cl delta bar into delta naught by Cm Qd by Q infinity minus 1. This is the, so finally whatever we have expressed, it is in non-dimensional term. Theta can be calculated, whatever we have calculated. Now with the theta value, what we have taken, CL delta due to delta
Sir, you are not audible. Sir, you are muted.
Hello?
Yes, now you are
Yes, sir.
audible.
Okay. Okay, let me come to. Now it is okay? So I'm considering an ideal condition where basically ideal actuator and rigid control surface, and then defining this non-dimensional parameters will be getting theta in terms of Cm delta bar plus Cl delta bar into delta naught divided by Qd into Q infinity, Qd divided by Q infinity minus 1. So this is the value of theta we have calculated. Now we will substitute back in our equation to find out the lift. So basically we are considering here one is called aeroelastic lift, that is considering the flexibility of the control surface. So it is Q infinity C into 1 into Cl alpha, whole thing multiplied by theta plus Cl delta by Cl delta divided by Cl alpha into delta, and then I am replacing theta here in this expression to find out the lift force, aeroelastic lift. So Q infinity C into Cl alpha, I have substituted here Cm delta bar plus Cl delta bar, this whole thing divided by Qd into Q infinity minus 1. Whatever I have solved the expression here, this expression I have substituted in this to find out the value of aeroelastic lift and the rigid lift. When I am considering the rigid lift, I will be taking only related to delta naught. So Q infinity C into 1 CL alpha, and I'll be taking this as delta naught. So now I can find out the efficiency, delta efficiency, that is due to contour surface deflection. What is the efficiency? I'll be taking as aeroelastic lift divided by rigid lift. If I divide that equation by with respect to this equation, you just look at it here. We are getting here, it will be 1 plus Cm delta bar plus Cl delta bar, this whole thing divided by Qd divided by Q infinity minus 1 into Cl delta bar. So this is our equation, what we are getting from our expression of this, taking this whole equation and this equation dividing this LAE divided by LR. So, and simplifying this expression, this will be cancelled. So QCCL alpha will be cancelled, and I'll have this term, this will be cancelled. I'll have 1 plus 1 plus Cm delta bar plus Cl delta bar, whole thing divided by, if you look at here, this is divided by Cl delta bar. So I am taking here Cl delta bar, delta naught will be cancelled in the second expression. So it is eta delta efficiency. This we call as control efficiency of the control surface. Efficiency of control surface. So now, since what we have seen here, Cm delta bar is less than 1, and Cm delta mod of Cm delta bar is greater than Cl delta. So delta will be this eta efficiency delta, eta delta will be less than equal to 1, less than 1. If Q infinity less than Qd, the forward speed or forward dynamic pressure is less than the divergence dynamic pressure, then we'll have this condition. See, eta delta less than 1, and under the condition that Q infinity is less than Qd. So let me now come to this expression, whatever we have considered the eta delta. This control reversal condition is that when this efficiency becomes 0, that we are considering as the control reversal condition. So if we look at this expression, whatever we have obtained, now if I equate this equal to 0, that is for control reversal. That is the expression I have considered here. So taking this equal to 0, so if you look at here in this expression, Qd by Q infinity minus 1 plus 1, this is coming plus 1, plus Cm delta bar by Cl delta bar. Cm delta bar by Cl delta bar, that this is equal to 0. Considering that efficiency equal to 0, and then finally we are getting Qd by Q infinity is equal to, after simplification we will be getting these two will be cancelled. So Qd by Q infinity will be getting minus Cm delta bar by Cl delta bar. So finally this condition, what we are considering as the control reversal or reversal dynamic pressure, I can calculate substituting in this expression. So it will be Q infinity into R minus Qd. This I'll be rearranging basically Q infinity, taking this in this direction and taking whole thing here. So it will be Q infinity reversal will be minus QD CL delta bar by CM delta bar. Whatever I have shown it here, if you look at here, the control reversal speed is with the negative sign. That means either CL delta bar or CM delta bar should be negative. Then only it is this equation will be satisfied. Otherwise, what will happen? For a negative forward velocity, we will have the control surface reversal speed, whatever we are getting it here. But actually, if we consider the CM delta bar or CL delta bar, then I can get a clear idea whether it is positive or negative. Based on that, I can get reversal speed, dynamic pressure. And now if I substitute this is the condition of control reversal. That is CM delta bar by CL delta bar is equal to minus QD divided by Q infinity reversal. And substituting this in the efficiency equation, whatever we have calculated earlier, the efficiency equation here, I am substituting in this expression. So eta can be, we can express eta efficiency, eta delta is equal to 1 plus, in place of theta, I am, CM delta bar divided by CL delta bar, I am substituting this relation. So if you look at here, whatever expression we got, I am just substituting in this, the condition. So it is 1 plus minus QD by Q infinity R plus 1 divided, whole thing divided by QD by Q infinity minus 1. And then after simplification, we will be getting this expression. So eta delta is equal to 1 minus Q infinity by Q infinity reversal divided by 1 minus Q infinity by QD. This is the condition, or how the delta efficiency is changing when the forward velocity is going towards the reversal speed. This is the variation of efficiency with respect to the forward velocity. So if I plot it, so whatever we have calculated now, eta L delta is equal to 1 minus Q by Q reversal divided by 1 minus Q by Q divergence. And finally, I am getting this reversal speed is equal to minus QD into CL alpha, CL delta bar by CM delta bar, and substituting the value QD, K theta by CL E C square, CL alpha into C square. This whole thing multiplied by CL delta by CM delta. Whatever we are, this E will be cancelled here. So K minus K theta by CL alpha C square multiplied by CL delta divided by CM delta. So finally, if I plot this, we will be getting it here. When QD is less than QR is less than QD, we will be getting a point where efficiency will be 0, and near the divergence speed it will be infinitely high because denominator becomes 0, and the efficiency whatever we are getting, basically what it is meaning, the negative efficiency is infinite. The value of negative efficiency is infinite. That means pilot is demanding, let's say, downward deflection. However, due to the forward speed, it has reached the control reversal speed. That's why he is not able to get downward deflection of the control surface, whereas the control surface is moving in the upward direction. Now another condition we are considering, suppose the reversal dynamic pressure is higher than the divergence dynamic pressure, then we will be getting the reverse efficiency will be increasing with the forward velocity starting from 0, and then when it is reaching towards the QD, asymptotically response, this efficiency value will be high. And then there will be a discontinuity. It will be, if we are going beyond that speed, it will be starting from in minus infinity. Again, it is coming somewhere, it is intersecting the zero line or the x-axis, and that we are defining as the control reversal speed. Say, depending on the value of QD and QR, we are getting two different type of curves. But in the first case, what we have considered, QR is the Q reversal speed is less than Q divergence speed, and then we'll have eta delta L delta starting from 0 and reducing, and at control reversal it is become 0, and towards the divergence speed the value of efficiency will be infinitely negative because it is going to the negative direction. Then in the when alpha Q reversal is greater than QD, then we are getting a discontinuity between these 2 points. Near to the control surface, it is having one infinite deflection here. That is, control surface efficiency will be very high in the positive direction, and then it is there is a discontinuity point or singularity point. It is here at Q equal to Q divergence, and again the efficiency of the overall efficiency will be reducing beyond QD, and it is becoming 0 at Q reversal. So this is the condition what we are getting for a, let me just summarize here. We have considered a aerofoil section. With aerofoil section, let's say alpha is the angle of attack, infinity is the forward free stream forward velocity, and the distance between aerodynamic center and elastic center is E into C, and control surface deflection is capital E into C. So this is the two-dimensional configuration. Okay, I think I have shown it somewhere in the beyond. So it is basically coming that when under this condition we have considered that ideal actuator and the stiffness of the control surface is infinitely high, and then in that case we are getting a control reversal speed which is defined here. QR is equal to minus QD into CL alpha bar, CL delta bar divided by CM delta bar, and we can get the value depending on how the Q reversal speed is placed, whether it is within divergence speed or above divergence speed. We will have the nature of the efficiency curve different. Is it clear? Are you getting some idea about the control reversal speed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think you have class after this, so I will close it here. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Says you have joined.
Sir, I joined
Yes.
late. Sir, I joined late.
Okay, fine. Anyway, you go through it. If you have any doubt, you can ask me later. Anyone,
Yes.
if you have any doubt, next class you can ask me so that I can clarify once again. Because these are basically conceptual thing. What we have, I have explained here in the single degree of freedom system, a simple but this is applicable for full aircraft also, with the full aircraft configuration. See, that's why usually in aeroelasticity we talk in terms of the modal approach. We have considered here a modal approach, and we have taken two modes basically one is the torsional mode of the wing and control surface deflection of the overall wing. So we have basically taken these two modes, torsional rotation of the wing and torsional rotation of the control surface. These are the two modal condition of the whole aircraft wing, and with these two degrees of freedom we are trying to demonstrate how the control surface reversal speed reaches. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me now. Otherwise, you can leave for your next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.